What happened over the past 2 months? Weil ich würde sagen, es waren sehr außergewöhnliche letzte 2 Monate. Okay, starting with, of course, this. I said you want to be startup B. You want to have visible progress. You want to find out what the differentiator is. Okay, so, which means, from my perspective, what did we achieve over the last 8 weeks? First, Lix had more progress than the last 24 months combined. Second, Inlang is now primed for success, built on a fast iteration SQLite foundation. No more reinventing of databases. And last but not least, to get number 1 and 2 done, top-down management was required. To make this progress with Lix and Inlang, top-down decision-making was required to get this done. Okay, so the previous talk was about there's a startup B, there's a startup A and a startup B, and both choose different paths to eventual success, but startup A died on the road because they had no visible progress or low visible progress and died along the way. Okay, now taking that presentation and applying it to Lix and our startup, what is our differentiating thing? What is our visible progress? Lix is a multi-file format change control system. That's what Lix is, multi-file format change control system. What exists out there in the world is text line version control systems. They understand how lines and text files change. Okay? So what is the differentiating piece? Multi-file format once and change control second, that we're not only making it for text files, but also we understand that the character changed and the headline changed and the translation changed. So instead of only having version control, we have change control. It understands changes and it's multi-file format. It's not only for text files. Okay, now let's take this beautiful story of startup A and startup B, and we're building a change control system. Specifically, both startups built a multi-file format change control system. How would that story look like? Well, we have the incumbents, which have, okay, ich dachte, ich hätte einen Laserpointer, which have a one-file format support for text files, and they have the multi-folder is kind of, they have a custom database to make this work. Yeah? They have kind of a handwritten database to make this work for text files. So startup A decides, wow, we can take that technology that has been built over the last 15 years, and the only thing we need to do is make it multi-file format, right? This is the only thing we need to do. Awesome. So in year 2, unfortunately, startup A is still undifferentiated to the thing that is out there in the world. It's still the same thing. It only supports one file format, which is text files. It still has this complexity of this handwritten database. And really, to the outside world, there's no perceived progress. And so much so that we thought to make this complexity work that we have there, we needed a 40 million seed round to get to differentiated feature, which is multi-file format and a host. Now, of course, if you go to year 4, we knew what would have happened. Let me say it out clear. Undifferentiated, even if we would have continued that path, undifferentiated, no perceived progress, 40 million seed round, that's death. We were on the track of startup A, on the way to death, because we are in year 2, just to make this clear. No perceived progress. Okay, what happened over the last 8 weeks? We corrected course, and here at year 2, we decided, okay, you know what? This is a dead end, quite literally. Let's go down and make it multi-file format. This is the differentiating part, make it multi-file format, and make it understand changes, right? We can now say, this is a CSV cell, this is an inline translation, and so on and so forth. And not only are we now multi-file format and we're getting to the differentiating part, we also realize that this handwritten database, this is not a differentiator. And as a matter of fact, it's making us really slow. Everything that had to do with the existing technology made us slow, and it's undifferentiating at the end of the day. So not only are we now getting to multi-file format stuff, we also have a SQLite foundation, which is brand new technology running in the browser, which helps us build really fast. And this is what we achieved over the last 8 weeks. Now, what's going to happen next? is most likely that someone says, oh, you have the differentiating piece now. This works for CSV, this works for Fing, this works for Markdown. Man, I want to use that. We're gonna get into that situation, and as a matter of fact, we already predicted that. There are some people having large posters about music, some people dreaming about architecture, video production. We already know that. But we never got there over the last 2 years. We were never in a position to show anyone that this is how change control feels like for a CSV. We were never even close to showing someone this is how collaborative Markdown looks like in a change control system. Never. We never were. And on that path, we wouldn't have been in the next 2 years. Okay, why is this nice? Differentiated, we have perceived progress, and very important, learning from the failed fundraise 3 months ago, which was one of the best things that could have happened to this company, because that's why this insight exists, and that's why we course corrected. And a big reason is, on that path with that new technology, where we leverage SQLite in the browser, who on earth needs $14 million to build a host? Nobody. We can build a host, if we look at the seed round, we're gonna survive with $2-3 million. We don't need more. We have that brand new SQLite technology. Okay, differentiated perceivable progress, works for different file formats. We achieved that over the last 8 weeks. And we have a fast iteration WebAssembly SQLite foundation on Lix sites in just 8 weeks. So let me repeat, that was more progress, perceivable progress, over the last 8 weeks than the last 24 months, at least on Lix site. Okay. What else did we achieve on Lix site? We have experienceable change control. Oh my God, we built Inlang as well for the last 2 years. And nowhere in Inlang was something about change control visible. Yes, you could push to a Git repository. That was not differentiating. That was possible before. And as it turned out, that is even translators don't care about pushing to Git. Nobody wants that. So we now have experienceable change control, also in just 8 weeks. We closed the gap, or about to close the gap in the ecosystem, which was a discussion for over a year. I can send Felix an inline file, and if you want it, you can build in a feature in Sherlock tomorrow that can load that file, and the developer will be able to edit it, and you can spit out a file again, and I can send it to Niklas for Fing, and then Niklas can send it to Martin to use it in Parrot. Of course, we're also about to build the host in a relatively short amount of time. How was it all possible in 8 weeks? Yeah? First, becoming a B startup, acknowledging that we were on the wrong path, and acknowledging that the existing technology that we leveraged to build this change control system, it did not help us build differentiating things. And because it did not help us build differentiating things, ultimately there was no perceived progress. Second, the change was so large to switch to SQLite and rebuild Lix from scratch and rebuild Inlang from scratch, that top-down management was required to get this refactor done in 8 weeks. Here's why. Before, so 3 months ago, everyone had their own project, own owner, you have this app, you have a goal, make growth. Little coordination was needed. After the decision was made, we're gonna rebuild this. What needed to be done is, in parallel, refactor everything we've built over the last 24 months. Now, naturally, what this leads to is everything is interdependent. So every project that before was very loosely connected and everyone could do their own thing, suddenly needed a lot of coordination. And the alternative would have been that we would have done everything in sequence. We would have, refactored Lix, and then we would have said, can you refactor the inline SDK? Can you refactor Sherlock? Can you refactor Fing? We could have done that, but at the end of the day, that would have cost us 6 months, 9 months? I don't know. We needed to get that done in two months. And that's what we managed to get that done. But how did we manage to do it? Management style before resembled how we structured the projects. Everything was, you do your thing. At the end of the day, if you contribute to growth, everything is fine. And that's lovely because high ownership, little management. Little management. Unfortunately, we started with that management style at the beginning of the refactor, and it led to complete chaos. The interdependencies, nobody knew what was going on, and frustration started to occur. You know, what the heck is going on? I don't understand this anymore, and yada, yada, yada. And that ultimately led to, all right, shut up, you do your refactor, dun, 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 and after we're done, we're gonna talk again. And the result is, I'm happy to report that we actually succeeded. Lixin inlaying, fast iteration to SQLite, experiencable change control, we're closing the gap in the ecosystem. And as a matter of fact, which is extremely nice, the divide between Lix and inlaying is also gone. Now that we have both technologies on SQLite, anyone here in this room can contribute to Lix. We don't need Git expertise here anymore. Every inlaying feature that is outstanding, validation rules and so on, is in reality really a Lix feature. So the divide between, oh, you built Lix and you built inlaying doesn't really exist anymore, because at that point inlaying is just Lix. Okay, now let's face the reality, and what could have gone better? Like, it was not nice for me. It was surely not nice for you, because there was a lot of tension. So this is up for discussion. I'm giving 2 points from my perspective, what could have gone better. And I'm very, very keen to discuss it afterwards, because that was a really stressful 8 weeks. And I had little sleep, if you can tell. Okay, so first, something really went wrong while proposing to rebuild inlaying and Lix on Wasm SQLite. I wrote the memos, and something went wrong there, because there was low acceptance, or something happened where there was a lot of pushback, and at the end of the day that really led to downstream unalignment and frustration. Why are we doing this? Is he crazy? This shouldn't be the case, yada yada. I remember at one point even giving up. I was like, I'm giving up justifying this. And then the second thing happened. Okay, I'm done justifying it. Top down, this is now how it's gonna be done. And one thing I did not do was I should have communicated the difference in management style earlier and more direct. Coming from the very loose management style of everyone has a voice to, no, actually you don't have a voice. You have a voice for the project that you're working on, but your only job right now is to get the refactor done in 8 weeks. That's really the only job you have right now. Everything else doesn't matter. I should have been, in retrospect, more upfront with that, because that was the only way to get this thing done, and that needed to be done. Okay, bonus, so we should discuss what could have been better. Bonus, multiple people expressed it during the refactor. Oh, why don't we build this feature? And this feature is lost from my app, and my app is now worse than it was before. And that is right. That is right. Your app, in some cases, might be worse than it was before. For Think, we can make the case that you cannot open Git repositories anymore. For Sherlock, we can make the case, in both Think and Sherlock's case, validation rules are gone. And that is right. The thing is, that was already so problematic to coordinate the whole refactoring that any feature we would have added to the list would have made the coordination even worse. So it was a conscious decision to say, no. If some apps get worse, but the entire ecosystem and the company gets better, it's worth it. Afterwards, we can deliver the features. Okay, what's the other one? Ah, yeah, okay. No, that's not important. So that's the presentation. I mean, if you take one thing out of it, it's really that we are now on this track. Differentiated perceived progress, 2 million seeds, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, whatever it is, right? We don't need 14 million to get to differentiating things, which will make fundraising much, much, much easier. And we actually have something to show. And hopefully we very quickly get to this. I want to use that. So that's what has been happening over the last 8 weeks. And I'm actually really happy, because From what I know, we can build super fast with SQLite. We're actually getting to change control. We have multi-file format support. And we should see interesting demos in the next couple of weeks. And reactions. I want to use that. That's it.